Brodes Media.
Maxey's that dude, huh? Maxey hits the 4-point play, huh? Maxey has 46, huh? Maxey plays 1 billion minutes, huh? This dude was insane. Madison Square Garden is fucking quiet as hell tonight. What a victory. And Joel Embiid deserved this because the way he poured his heart on the floor through the first 4 games and barely sniffed any help on the night where he was tragic. That was an epic, horrible Joel Embiid effort. All the turnovers were a disgrace. This guy was sloppy as hell and couldn't do a damn thing until overtime happened. A block on Jalen Brunson, diving on the floor for the final defensive rebound. He had a beautiful and one. Also, when Kelly Oubre misses a 2-foot layup, he snags it and earns a trip to the charity stripe. All right, this dude was all over the place in the overtime period, and I heard from a lot of Sixers fans after the first 4 games, I'd rather have someone who can at least make an impact in the fourth quarter and not have them be as good through the first 3 quarters, essentially. They hated Embiid so much, they said the first 3 quarters are useless. If you can't make plays happen late in the game, then what are you useful for? So don't fucking flip now. Don't be turning the page now on us, all right? Because that man was extremely important in the overtime period. After Nick Nurse didn't learn that you can't play him the whole second half, they eventually had to pluck him off the court and put him on the bench because it was that atrocious. Thank the Lord, Tyrese Maxey. And B got help from a lot of his teammates. Tobias Harris at the free throw line. Tobias Harris from behind the arc. He bailed out the offense when it was going through the traditional ugly, piss-poor offense. He takes a pretty contested jump shot, mid-range J, and he's able to knock it down. Nothing but back iron. The net barely moved. Pretty awesome. Just insane. Tyrese Maxey, how he stole that game. It reminded me of Reggie Miller putting his hands up to his neck. You get those 4 points on a three-pointer in the foul. I'm thinking about John Stewart on the sidelines with a face of disgust, with a face like my man saw a ghost. Remember when Sam Darnold was sitting on the bench and he was staring into the abyss, not knowing what world he was in, not knowing if he was living a real life, not knowing where he was? That was John Stewart after Maxey cashes in. This guy then pulls up and hits a logo 3. Oh my God. Oh my God, the balls on this guy on the road to have his superstars back. Joel deserves another crack at it. He really does, because that was horrible. It was indefensible. I realized that probably the next 3, 4, 5 days was going to make me sick, because all I would have to do would be dealing with people that are going so crazy, and it is what it is. But man, wow! 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 How did they win that ball game, fellas? That's beautiful stuff. You even had to deal with the flagrant foul call on Embiid when he takes a swipe and it accidentally hits Brunson. He didn't mean to. Brunson put his shoulder into him to draw the contact, and then when Embiid came swiping down, because Brunson put his body closer to Joel, ends up smacking him in the face. Brunson scored the first 5 points in overtime. You go, oh, man, come on. Were we just delaying the inevitable? Now we have 5 more minutes to watch this team collapse, because let's be honest with you, there were some fourth quarter minutes that reminded you of every fourth quarter minute of the last 28 years of my life. Turning the ball over, bad passes, the ball's going out of bounds by the half-court line. They could barely get the ball to Joel Embiid, and that was a big problem. I saw a lot of people saying, why isn't Embiid on the low block? Get this guy on the low block! And I'm thinking, did you watch the game? The second he gets the ball, either, I guess, that final Mitchell Robinson steal on Embiid, that wasn't necessarily bringing the trap and bringing a wave of defenders. But what has been working for the Knicks was they would bring that added layer. They'd bring that extra body. Now Joel has to move the ball, and things got very ugly. Things related to a turnover. So if you are the Knicks, or excuse me, if you are Nick Nurse, wouldn't you think would be a better idea to at least give Joel Embiid a possibility to execute, to work, facing himself and facing the defender, facing the basket, and maybe drawing himself away from the low block, because then they're not automatically coming with an extra defender. Then he can at least see the floor and have the ball in his hands. I just like that better, because you're getting your best player the ball with a better chance to succeed. Now, ultimately, things did not pan out well for him today through the first 4 quarters, but I'm just talking about game plan and strategy-wise. I'm not going to destroy the Sixers for maybe allowing Joel Embiid to operate farther from the basket, because when he was doing his traditional back to the basket and trying to lower somebody as close to the rim as humanly possible, the ball was coming out of his hands in seconds. And more times than not, this team is not built for their sharpshooters, and I'll use that with air quotes because I don't know what type of sharpshooters they really have. They haven't helped you all series long. If you have a bunch of playmakers and a bunch of spacers, and Buddy Hield came over as a 43% shooter, and he's been red hot, and guys have been unreal, well then, yeah, let's live with all those shots because, well, you're great, and you can. But that hasn't been the case through the first 4 games of the series. So I don't know. It just put me in a spot where I could understand asking him to go to work farther from the basket in totality. But anyway, it doesn't really matter how they got it done. It was just about getting it done. All right, because there was some ugliness. There was about 2 minutes to go. All right. Oh, no, that was when the 2 minutes to go was the Embiid and one, the Embiid splitting 1 of 2 with the Oubre miss, Embiid's block on Brunson, and all of that crazy stuff. But, yeah, then Jalen Brunson had the ball in his hands, and then he tries to go up with it, and then he ends up trying to make a pass to the corner. I guess there was some miscommunication with the Knicks, and the ball goes out of bounds. That was right after the Sixers screwed up a possession of their own, so it did get wild pretty heavily. But when the score was 87-86, Embiid misses a baby hook, which rimmed around. Batum misses the putback. Brunson hits free throws the other way, and Embiid was stolen on the low block, which went to a fast break Knicks dunk. And I thought then and there it was over. I mean, how am I going to rely on this team to run a crisp, clean offense in the fourth quarter to set up amazing looks? That's not what happened here. He got bailed out. You need stars to make plays. You need guys to put the team on their back. And I didn't know if Tyrese Maxey, after seeing some of the games this series, he would be really bad in the first half, and then he'd have an explosive third. What I saw was bits and pieces of the Tyrese Maxey experience. He'd have moments in the playoffs where you go, all right, baby, we know you're capable. We know you're a dog. But what separates you at this time of the year is consistency. So it doesn't surprise me that he can pop off like this in a 7-game series. The next level for him is to go through this journey and then eventually, not 46 points, but on a night-to-night basis, we need you to be 30-plus. We need you to be that guy. We need you to run the offense. I saw a 2-man game, and Kyle Lowry gets in foul trouble, so then Nick Nurse put him on the bench, and then your offense looked different between Maxey and Embiid with the 2-man game as they were trying to get looks for Maxey to utilize his speed and just his ability to be red hot in those moments to cash out from deep. But, man, it's like when Maxey does it, I didn't know if he had the 46 in him. I didn't know if he had the 46 4-point play. That's iconic level stuff. This is, in what world did the Sixers steal that game? This isn't the same as Game 2 where the Knicks had no business winning because that was the referees handing them the victory. There were no referees handing out victories today. This was all about Maxey doing it himself. This was all about Maxey saying, this is my time. I recognize that Joel isn't dipping into his bag today. I realize that Joel Embiid is not having it. And I don't want to hear all the bullshit for the next 3 days. I got him. I'll put him on my back. And he sure did. He sure did. I knew he could be good in the playoffs. I didn't know if he was going to give us this is special. This is dynamic. This is game changer. This is legacy level stuff. When you talk about the NBA postseason, now that Tyrese Maxey has this, and I do expect this to be more of the norm throughout our Tyrese Maxey experience as a fan base. But that was absurd. Absolutely absurd. Legacy changing.